Rise and shine, everyone. Time now, 6 o'clock. Jason Hackett and Alicia Lewis with you. Thank you for joining us here on Sunrise. We got to get to weather here in just a minute because it is beautiful outside this morning. But you're tracking a traffic impact alert.
Yeah, Cece's off this morning. And of course, it's busy, but we're going to keep you prepared this morning. If this is your route, 94 eastbound, we do have this traffic impact alert. The semi there that is now back on its tires was flipped. It was blocking 2 lanes. It still is blocking some lanes of traffic if you're coming from Rogers towards Maple Grove. Let's show you the map. You can see the significant backup here. Drive times have been increasing all morning long, and this is already a busy stretch without crashes. So if this is your route, plan accordingly. We do have detour options for you. That's coming up. But here's how long it's going to take you to get to Maple Grove. 41 minutes right now. It's typically about 15, 16 minutes. So that if that tells you anything, give yourself plenty of time. I'll have some detours for folks, Ren, coming up in my next traffic.
Yeah, busy morning when it comes to traffic. Weather-wise, it's just nice. So you are catching a break. We're not dealing with rain, heat, humidity. It's just kind of the perfect forecast today. We're currently sitting in the 50s. It is quiet. It's not breezy. If we had strong winds, this would probably feel cold because we're not acclimated to this right now, and our average lows are in the upper 60s. But it's not windy at all today, and actually winds are even light right now. Hour by hour, you're looking at sunny skies with northerly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. By the lunch hour, we're right around 70 degrees, highs of 74, with a few fair weather clouds by the afternoon, especially across western Minnesota. Low 70s up north and to the south, so very consistent and quiet forecast today. Changes are on the way tomorrow. I'll have those details up ahead with my full forecast. Jason?
Ren, thank you very much. We are following breaking news from overnight in our nation's capital. The Senate approving a massive spending cuts package just in the last few hours. So now it heads back to the House for final approval before tomorrow's deadline.
And then the bill goes straight to President Trump's desk. Michelle Beck is the live desk with everything that happened overnight, Michelle.
Well, guys, it was just about 1:30 this morning when we learned the legislation passed 51 to 48. Just 2 GOP members joined Democrats in opposing it. This is a package that cancels previously approved funding, therefore slashing $9 billion from public broadcasting and foreign aid. A big chunk of those dollars were to support developing countries with economic growth and democracy. Lawmakers opposing the cuts requested by the president have spoken out. Their concerns include the trickle down to locally operated public TV and radio stations.
Grand Marais, Minnesota, the very tip of our state, the tip of Minnesota. Do you think all these other stations are covering the Canadian wildfires hourly? They do.
A lot of these recommendations now are an implementation of what DOJ found in areas of the budget that they thought we could achieve savings, but not undermine the critical mission aspects of a lot of these, some of these programs do.
So for the proposed cuts to stand, House Republicans have just a day today to vote on the spending cuts and send it to the president. Back to you.
Michelle, thank you. Now, absent from voting was Minnesota Senator Tina Smith, who's waking up in a D.C. hospital this morning. In a note from her staff, they said while at work at the Capitol, Smith started to feel sick. The Capitol doctor recommended that she get a more comprehensive health check at the hospital. They said out of an abundance of caution, she's going to be kept there this morning for observation, telling KARE 11 that the senator is okay and they're expecting her to feel better and get back to work soon.
Now, staying in D.C., House lawmakers vote to advance cryptocurrency legislation. The House held the rule vote open yesterday for more than 8 hours, making it the longest vote in modern House history. Republican leaders spent that time trying to get party holdouts to support the rule that would allow crypto legislation to come to the floor.
Right now, a 7-year-old's fighting for their life after getting hit by a car in St. Paul last night. We first told you about this as breaking news in our 10 o'clock newscast. It happened at around 7:30 at White Bear Avenue and 5th Street in Eastview neighborhood. Police say the driver who hit the child was cooperative and there were no signs of any impairment. They were released at the scene. Officers are still investigating what happened. In less than 2 weeks, a murderer in Minnesota is set to be released from prison.
David Brom was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences back in 1988. That's when he took an axe and killed his parents, sister, and younger brother in Rochester. He was just 16 at the time. Audrey Russo is joining us live now to explain the change in the law making his release possible. Audrey.
Yeah, Jason, Alicia, David Braum will be released to a halfway house here in the Twin Cities because of a juvenile justice law signed in 2023. In part, it makes anyone under the age of 18 serving a life sentence eligible for parole once they spend 15 years behind bars. So under this law change, Braum was retroactively eligible for parole in 2018. So here's what happens now, according to the Department of Corrections. Braum is currently at the Lionel Lakes prison. When he's released to this work release program in about 2 weeks' time, he'll be supervised with a GPS monitor as he works towards full parole. Braum, who will get case management services, says he's a changed person because of treatment and faith.
I apologize for the ripple effects of losing an entire family in such a horrific way.
Now, normally people who are released from prison under these circumstances are returned to the county of their conviction. Coming up in about 30 minutes, though, I'll explain why Braum is not going back to the Rochester area. For now, though, I'll send things back to you, Jason and Alicia.
Hey, we will talk to you then, Audrey. Thank you so much. In about 3 hours, the defense will resume its case in State Senator Nicole Mitchell's burglary trial. The state lawmaker is accused of breaking into her stepmother Carol's house to steal personal items belonging to her late father. Investigators testified Carol was worried Mitchell may have intended to kill her. The defense team is expected to call on witnesses who suggest Alzheimer's is clouding the judgment of Senator Mitchell's stepmom. It's also possible that we'll hear from Senator Mitchell herself if she chooses to testify.
In the last 24 hours, we've learned accused political assassin Vance Belter is expected to plead not guilty at a September 12th arraignment. That's according to his federal defense attorney. A grand jury indicted Belter Wednesday on 6 charges. He's accused of killing Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband and seriously injuring Senator John Hoffman and his wife.
This morning, we're waiting to learn more about a Delta flight heading to MSP that had to turn around due to an unruly passenger. That plane was leaving Chicago yesterday when that incident happened. A Delta spokesperson says the flight crew followed procedures to return to O'Hare after takeoff. Delta says they have zero tolerance for unruly behavior. And then take a look at this new video from an MSP-bound Sun Country flight. About a half hour after the plane left Los Angeles, passengers heard a boom and then noticed this. That's fire coming from the right engine. Sun Country turned the plane around and headed back to LA safely. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Well, most of the Minnesota Lynx are on the All-Star break this morning, feeling pretty good about themselves after getting their 20th win of the season yesterday. Taking care of business in a matinee matchup with the Mercury, every player on the roster putting up points. Kayla McBride leading the way with 18. So they're back home against the Sky on Tuesday. Of course, Nafisa Collier and Courtney Williams and Kayla McBride heading to Indianapolis for the All-Star game on Saturday. Tip-off for that is at 7:30. And we know East team captain Caitlin Clark is questionable after another injury this week, which would be a bummer because it's in Indianapolis. She's supposed to participate in the three-point contest as well.
Yeah,
so
she looked really disappointed,
Yeah.
rightfully so. But I wonder if they brought her back too soon because she
Yeah.
was injured not too long ago. So maybe she needed more time to heal.
And you wonder, the ultimate goal is to, get to the playoffs and make it further. So you wonder if they're going to sit her, which will be a disappointment for fans in Indianapolis, but better for the team in the long run.
Right. Still could be a leader. All right. We do have a traffic impact alert for you this morning. A semi was flipped to its side, 94 eastbound at County Road 81. You can see it's still there now. They got it back onto its tires. A crane just lifted it not too long ago. I have reached out to State Patrol to try to get some more information about how this happened or what happened. But again, traffic is slow. So let's give you a look of the map, show you exactly. This is the only thing I'm really tracking this morning that's pretty significant. So we'll zoom in into the Rogers area. If you're coming from Monticello, St. Michael, you typically take the stretch of 94. Again, just a heads up. So here's some detour options. If you come from Ramsey or the Otsego area, just hop on, maybe avoid going down 101. You don't want to go down that way because you'll be stuck in it. So stay on Highway 10 through Anoka and Champlain and go down 169, or just stay on this all the way on a stretch of Highway 10 if need be, if that's your route from the North Metro. But let's talk drive times as we zoom in closer here to the stretch of road. 37 minutes. So it's gotten a little bit better than we saw last time, but still the average speed about 37 miles per hour. So plan accordingly. We'll be monitoring this and have updates for you throughout the morning run.